So this ride puts you head to head with late night's #1 guy, the superstar, Jimmy Laughs by the Gallon Fallon. And my God, he spares no expense here. He's bringing his A game. Not only is the ride great, but the jokes, whoo-wee. I mean, you're going to be having thrills and you're going to be having cramps in the side of your belly from how hard you'll be laughing. The whole experience here is something that cannot be understated. You go into the NBC studio, you're seeing all kinds of cool NBC lore, and then Jimmy Fallon calls you up. It's your time on the late night big stage, baby. You get to see some highlights from the Jimmy Fallon show, such as the time he smacked an egg on the top of his head. I mean, who could forget? And then Jimmy Fallon talks to you. You sit down in these really beautifully comfortable chairs, which are just made out of metal, and they're at like a terrible angle, so you end up sinking straight down and hitting your tailbone on a jagged piece of metal because it's constructed so well. And then you strap in, and you're in for the time of your life. It's a giant dome, it's a big screen, and Jimmy Fallon's talking to you. The objective is simple. We, since we're a team, we are going to be racing against Jimmy Fallon through New York City for the sake of beating him. And if we beat him, that's good for the ratings and it makes us happy. If he beats us, we suck. That's about it. And, we engage in this race, and it's cool. You immediately bust out of the NBC studio. Jimmy Fallon's drifting around corners. We, as the audience, we're drifting all over the place too. And it's got like haptic feedback, so your chair's bumping and grinding all over the place. In particular, at this showing, the people behind me were really having a hoot and a holler every time Jimmy opened his fucking mouth. They were losing their shit. So they were having a great time. We were all having a great time too. I mean, just ask Joyo. I mean, Joyo, I've never seen someone so happy. So we're racing Jimmy Fallon through New York. We get to see a lot of cool things. We get to see the Statue of Liberty for a little while. We get to see other cool New York stuff like pizza. Jimmy Fallon throws pizza at us. We go through the subway. And then in a giant plot twist, it turns out our vehicles, I mean, they're not just roadsters. Like, we're not confined to just the simple streets. Not Jimmy Fallon, not with these plebeians. So he's outfitted our vehicle with jet boosters, so they turn into giant rocket ships. And now we're not just racing Jimmy Fallon through the streets of New York, we're racing him to the moon. So then we take it to the moon like real men, and then we take a giant space cannon back to Earth, and then we re-enter the studio, and then it's neck and neck. Jimmy Fallon's a little ahead of us, so we pull a kind of dirty little pit maneuver, take him out of the race, and we beat him back, and we win. All in a day's work. Jimmy Fallon's been defeated at his own game, and we leave with smiles on our face. It was a memorable experience, and it was a lot of fun. Now, compare the 35 seconds you spend racing Jimmy Fallon to the 45 to a minute you spend on a roller coaster. The answer should be obvious as to what's more fun. Like, in a roller coaster, you don't get a cool story. You're not even racing against anybody, and Jimmy Fallon's not even there. So I don't know why anyone would ever choose a roller coaster over racing Jimmy Fallon through New York like 5 times in a row. But let's move on. So Jimmy Fallon is, of course, a banger. The race through New York ride, amazing. One of humanity's finest works. But we're only just getting started because Universal also has the Fast and Furious ride, and my God, if you ever need to feel like a man, just go on there. By the time you get out, have a fucking full beard and a hairy chest. This is something special. So, again, not going to show any footage because I don't want to take a chance here. But the story is as follows. You've been invited to a super secret party. It's a big banger. So we get briefed by a live action human being who's talking with CGI Ludacris on a TV screen. So Ludacris has these pre-recorded lines where he's like, hey, welcome, you're about to go to like a super exclusive party, it's fucking awesome. And then the live action guy is just like, hey, listen to Ludacris. Ludacris is talking about a party, we're about to go to a party. Then they funnel you into another room, which is the same thing, where it's a live action person on a mic with a pre-recorded Ludacris going, this party's gonna be nuts, but I hear the FBI is about to raid it. And then the live action person's like, damn, but I was looking forward to this party. Well, better get them on their way. So then they send you into this party bus, which is the ride vehicle. It's this giant party bus thing. And then they take us to the party. It's got, it's a screen with a video that plays. and it's just a bunch of people like dancing. And then the FBI shows up. They say, "Hey, we're the FBI. We're shutting this party down. This party's too late. Get out of here. Party's shutting down." Then Roman comes in. He's like, "Oh, what do you mean the party's shut down?" The FBI pulls a gun on him. And then Vin Diesel and Letty rise from the ground on a semi-truck and say, "Hey, put that gun away." We got our family here, talking to us on the party bus. So then The Rock shows up and says, "My gun's a lot bigger." And he's got a big gun. And then after that, FBI guy leaves. He's like, "Owen Shaw's coming for this party bus and we gotta save him." So Vin Diesel's like, "Coming for our family? No, sir. Get him out of here." So then the party bus starts moving. The Rock comes on the screen in the party bus because the party bus has screens. And he says, "One of you is a super secret agent that Owen Shaw wants to kill, and he's not going to stop at anything till you're dead, so we got to get you out of here." And then what follows is 15 seconds of pure chaos. It's only like a 15 to 25 second ride. It's, not all, the star that burns brightest burns out the fastest, as they say. It's it's the best 15 seconds of your fucking life. So you're in the party bus, then all of a sudden on two sides, there's now two screens, and it's playing a video where Owen Shaw's got like a fucking wrecking machine that's drifting all around the interstate, that's chasing us. Vin Diesel grabs onto a fucking helicopter and throws it to the ground. Letty hits you with a grappling hook. And all the while, it's playing the most over-the-top sound effects of all time. So, like, you crash through one of the cars, and it actually sounds like a bomb goes off in the vehicle because they put the speakers right next to your ears. So it just has, like, this absolutely apocalyptic boom sound that'll deafen you for a little while. And then eventually, like, oil spills, and then, like, a water tank blows up. And they have these water jets in the party bus, which are aimed directly at your eyeballs. So when the water goes off, it like shoots a bidet into your eyes, which blinds you. So it takes away all of your senses as quickly as possible. So you're blind, you're wiping your eyes, you're trying to unclog your ears. Meanwhile, fucking Roman and Vin Diesel are slapboxing Owen Shaw on top of a nuclear missile. Like, it's fucking crazy. And it ends with the party bus falling off a bridge, and then Tez saying, "Congratulations, you did it." Didn't really do anything besides get beat up by the party bus, but, you feel like you accomplished something. You feel like you bonded with the people you went on the ride with. It's a banger. It's a great ride. I love it. Another absolutely fantastic piece of human ingenuity and creativity. Now let's talk about the E.T. ride. This ride's existed since back when Jesus was still around, it feels like. The E.T. ride is old as shit, and it feels that way. When you enter E.T., the first thing you're greeted with is the smell of an antique shop. I don't think that place has been properly cleaned in the last fucking 40 years. It smells so old. It smells like a grandmother's butthole. It is absolutely awful. And the mission is simple. E.T.'s been kidnapped, and you have to save not only E.T. but some of his alien friends like Blanca or something. And so we're going to save them from a distant planet, another world. But it's really innovative because you tell an instructor your name, your first name, so whatever you want it to be. They're not going to like check your ID. So you tell them like, "I'm Paul, I'm Biff, Bill, whatever." And at the end of the ride, once you save E.T., spoiler alert, E.T. reads your name. He says, "Goodbye, Bill, Paul, Biff." It's so cool. It's so fucking cool. This was so ahead of its time back in the 1800s. But the ride, let's get to the ride. You get on these bikes. The ride is meant to look like bikes. And it takes you on a journey through E.T. basically. So you have like little wax figurines of people that are supposed to be like cops. You have lights that are going off that are supposed to be like police cars that are trying to stop you. Like, "Hey, don't go save E.T. That's bad." And then an iconic moment is when the vehicle, like your ride, goes over the city, because you're about to go into space, like going over the moon, like with a bicycle. You're over the city, but since this is so old, they didn't have like a screen to project the city. So what they did is they took tiny pieces of cardboard and put it underneath you, so it looks like buildings that are very small. So they put little cardboard building boxes and lights in it to make it look like a little city. It is adorable. It's like something a kid would make. and then you end up leaving this atmosphere. You're now on a distant planet with horrifying alien animatronics that start singing things. And I forget what the song was, but it almost sounded like a curse. Like in Courage the Cowardly Dog, you remember, it's Doc Gerbil's world. It's Doc Gerbil's world. It's that, but E.T. themed. So you're going through that world, seeing all these aliens, and then out of nowhere it just says, you saved E.T. One of the aliens is like, thanks for saving E.T. He's going home now. And that's it. And then that's when he says, goodbye, Charles, Joyo, Matt. It's iconic. I can't believe they haven't torn that down for anything else. I am so happy they haven't torn that ride down. That ride needs to exist for as long as humans exist, as a testament to what we're capable of building. It's so wild that that thing still exists. But anyway, moving on to the next ride. Men in Black. This ride is unironically. I've first been kidding about the other rides being fun, but in all honesty, the Men in Black ride is still probably the best ride in Universal and Islands of Adventure by extension. It's just so fun. It's a score attack ride. You sit in a car. They have a little gun with like a little light on it, RFID or some shit, a little laser beam. And the goal is simple. It takes you through the streets, and there's aliens that are hanging all over the place, moving around, and they're actually pretty well designed. Some of them are just like standard, like almost shooting range targets with little targets on you to shoot that are alien themed. But then some of them are just fully sculpted animatronic aliens that'll shoot back, and if they shoot your car spins around. So you're shooting them, and it's keeping track of your score. Eventually you can start shooting the other cars, and if you hit them, they spin around. So if you have good aim, you can spin them around like 50 fucking times and make them all dizzy and puke and shit. And then by the end of the ride, I'm gonna go ahead and reveal a huge secret here. You fight a giant alien, and Jay comes on and he says, push the red button. And there's a tiny little red button that almost nobody knows about, where it's underneath your gun holster. If you press it when he tells you to, you get a free 100,000 points. And you'll win every time thanks to that. So I was able to get 195,000 points, the highest out of our entire group. But it's just a fun ride, like an actually fun one that I think most people know of. Like if you've been to Universal, I'm sure you've been on the ride and had a great time with it. What? You want to go on the Men in Black ride, I know. But you can't hold a gun. I know, it's not fair. You're telling me. I know, hey, it's not my fault. Blame evolution. But anyway, I just wanted to briefly talk about this experience because I spent 10 hours outside and it was no problem. I didn't even get sunburnt. I was putting on so much sunscreen, it was like another layer of skin. So wanted to talk about, you know, the whole experience here and the best 4 rides ever made. If you've never been to Universal, I'd recommend checking them out if you ever find yourself there. Like, they're extremely goofy shit. Like, the goofiest, silliest shit imaginable that I have a massive appreciation for. And, yeah, that's really about it. So, yeah. Make sure to smash that like button and thumbs up, ring the bell, tell your mom I said hi.